Oh, the final two episodes of Legend of book 4, Legend of Korra. Let's go. Okay, this episode or these two episodes, I really have to talk about in conjunction of one another because it actually makes them a lot easier to talk about. Especially since that most of episode 11 was just circled around the whole thing of them figuring out how to cut a hole in Kuvira's super robot and try and get inside. Now, thanks to Asami's father, they do necessarily come up with the perfect plan, along with Varric, who also does take this time to propose to Zhu Li, which is something that I do like, which I really don't know why, but I'm like, Legend of Korra, or pretty much this show, or pretty much just the Avatar series, for some reason it does romance really well. I guess it's possibly because the reason why they do romance so well is because all of the characters who do get romances, you like them in some way, shape, or form, or pretty much that they're competent in a way. I mean, that's pretty much the reason why I do like all of Bolin's romances as much as I do. But then cutting into this one, you know, they do have their tender moment, which I do believe in the episode previous to this one, or I do believe that it was this one, in which that he did try and tell Zhu Li about Varric did try and tell Zhu Li about this ostrich duck he had, in which that he took her for granted. So that is actually something that does tend to play into this changing character he does have. Now, sadly, this episode does end with, or at least like the first episode 11, it does end with Asami's father dying, which did necessarily feel as that like he knew he was going to die, and he just made this noble sacrifice just after he made up with his daughter. So it did feel a bit as if it was kind of like something that he wanted, but other than that, it was actually rather nice. Now pretty much cutting into episode 12, which does tend to do this whole little battle thing of taking down the giant platinum robot, which something really does which I really been asking a lot of questions here. Namely, if platinum is a metal, okay, first off, if Kuvira has this gigantic platinum robot, who fucking bend this goddamn thing? And number two, if platinum is a metal, how come none of the other benders down there can actually really bend it? Because that's really weird. I mean, like, platinum is a metal. You can bend that, and I'm like, this doesn't necessarily seem man-made, because that damn thing because that shit will be in somebody's record book, and also Varric would have known about it. So it's like, that's kind of something that's kind of going up into the air. Also, number 3, they have downplayed the lava bending ever since season 3, which season 3 lava bending was by far the best shit in that goddamn series, in that arc. Going into this one, it's not all that badass. It's just like a minor inconvenience for villains. It's almost like the Earth power in fucking Infamous Second Son, in which that, like, the Earth power is by far in cutscenes the greatest shit ever, but then as soon as you get your hands on it, it's like, this really isn't all that great. However, going into this episode, they do take down the robot. They do take down the robot. They take off the cannon. The biggest props here really have to go to Mako and Bolin, which do necessarily take the part in blowing up the gigantic metal platinum robot. Korra this season, her final battles have really been getting, you know, downplayed a lot, and this is possibly the biggest downplay of them all, especially since that her actually defeating Kuvira was not necessarily upon her outmatching her in combat. It was just a talkative thing of just, let's just sit down and just say, yeah, I understand, and Kuvira just saying, I give up. So that's pretty much how that ended. Also, on a side note, remember when I was talking about relationships earlier on in this video. Now, for some reason, I do feel that this is a thing of the times, but a lot of this stuff here, now I know that I really shouldn't be saying this, but it seems as though is that they're really trying to push this seemingly relationship between Asami and Korra, and it was there ever since the end of book 3, At least like on that last episode when she was in the wheelchair. It seems as though as that it's something, or pretty much it started out as she wants to have a friend, but I'm like, I thought that Asami and Korra were already friends. But cutting on to the whole thing from her being, or her jumping into a hasty relationship with Mako, who was actually her only actual male relationship, and the same thing for Asami, of Mako being her only male relationship to our knowledge. It seems as though is that they are really trying to just push these two together, and I know what they want. They want it to be a best friend thing, but it's not really sticking so much, is because it feels more like a romance, especially since of how they word things. And pretty much a lot of their wording, especially for like the ending of this episode, of them going on vacation, just the two of them, and her writing only Asami a letter, and pretty much Asami saying that if she lost her and Korra, if she lost her father and Korra in the same day, she couldn't handle it. It's things like that which pretty much make me feel as though is that if this was on a different network, if this wasn't Nickelodeon, they would have really pushed like a romantic relationship between these two characters. And that's not a problem. I just kind of just see it like that. I mean, like, you can sense it in the air. I mean, like, really tell me, when you see them both going up into like that, into the spirit portal in Central City, just tell me you did not have the urge in your brain to say these two are gonna kiss. Just tell me. However, really going back into that, that's not a bad thing. However, Legend of Korra, as many people have said, book 4 is not that bad. But nothing can beat book 2 and Unalaq and his twirling mustache if he had one. But at this point, book 3 is still the best, because Zaire, not that fucker on YouTube, but the villain in book 3, him and his team were really fucking interesting, and I really wanted to know more about them. So cutting from that to just having some chick who sits on a pedestal and does her M. Bison shit and says the same thing every episode, it's a bit difficult for me to get behind her. So that is what I have to say about that. What do you guys think about this? Please tell me down in the comment section. I'll catch you guys on the next John Grave Show. So please keep watching anime, keep playing video games, and I'll catch you guys on the next John Grave Show. I'm out.